The blood on Kang Minho's white dress shirt is still wet when Maya Sterling realizes something that makes her heart stop. This man, the one pressing her against the bullet-riddled wall, shielding her body with his own as gunfire tears through the safe-house windows, this is the same cold, calculating mafia boss who bought her like property 6 months ago. The same man who told her she was just business. The same man who barely looked at her for 3 months straight. But right now, he's looking at her like she's the only thing in the world worth dying for. "Stay down." His voice is rough, desperate. His hand cups the back of her head, pressing her face into his chest as another spray of bullets shatters what's left of the windows. "Don't move, Maya. Don't even breathe loud." Her heart is pounding so hard she can feel it in her throat. She can feel his racing just as fast against her cheek. "Minho, your shoulder, you're bleeding." "Doesn't matter." His grip tightens. "Nothing matters except getting you out of here alive." "Your men are out there." "They can handle themselves. You can't." His voice cracks, and when she looks up, she sees something in his eyes that terrifies her more than the bullets. Raw fear, genuine terror. "If they touch you, Maya, if they so much as leave a bruise on you, I'll burn every criminal organization in Seoul to ash, starting with my own." And that's when Maya understands. Somewhere between the contract signing and this moment, between his ice-cold detachment and this desperate protection, Kang Minho stopped seeing her as an asset. He started seeing her as something worth destroying his entire empire for. But this story doesn't start with bullets and blood and a mafia boss ready to betray everything he's built. This story starts 6 months earlier in a federal interrogation room in Los Angeles, where Maya Sterling's past was about to collide with a future she never saw coming. If you want to know how an FBI informant and a Korean crime lord went from a stone-cold transaction to a love so dangerous it threatened to topple an entire criminal empire, you need to hear everything. Because what happens next will leave you breathless, terrified, and believing that some loves really are worth burning the whole world down for. But before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. Your support keeps these stories alive. Now, let's go back to where it all began. 6 months earlier, Maya Sterling sat in an FBI interrogation room, hands folded, trying to look calm even though her heart was racing. She'd been in witness protection for 3 years. 3 years of hiding, 3 years of new names, new cities, new lives that never lasted long enough to feel real. And now Agent Chen was looking at her with exhausted eyes, and she knew something had gone very, very wrong. "Miss Sterling, we have a situation." He slid a file across the table. "Dmitry Volkov has put out a contract on you, $5 million, dead or alive, though he specified he prefers alive." $5 million. For her. Maya's stomach dropped, but she kept her voice steady. "So relocate me again." "That's what you do, right?" Agent Chen shook his head. "We've relocated you 4 times in 3 years. They keep finding you within months. Maya, there's a leak. Someone in the system is feeding Volkov information." The room suddenly felt too small. "So you're telling me I'm already dead? We're just waiting for it to happen." "I'm telling you traditional witness protection has failed, so we're proposing something untraditional." He pulled out another file, this one with Korean characters and a single name, Kang Minho. "Have you heard of the Kang organization?" "Korean Mafia," Maya said carefully. "Based in Seoul. High-end smuggling, money laundering, information brokering. More sophisticated than most cartels. Why? Because Kang Minho has made us an offer." Chen opened the file and Maya's breath caught. The man in the photograph was beautiful in the way dangerous things are. Sharp features. Eyes that looked like they calculated the value of everything and found most of it lacking. A suit that probably cost more than her car. Even in a still photo, he radiated the kind of power that made people instinctively take a step back. He wants to buy your contract, Chen continued. Take over your protection in exchange for intelligence on Volkov. There's bad blood between their organizations. He'll keep you hidden in Seoul where Volkov's reach is limited. You give him everything you know about Volkov's operations. Maya's blood went cold. You want me to trade one criminal for another? I want you to survive the next 3 weeks. Chen's voice was hard. Because that's all you have, Maya, maybe less. Kang Minho's organization has never had a leak. His security is better than ours, and he's offering you a contract. 3 years of protection for your cooperation. After 3 years, if Volkov's no longer a threat, you walk away. Full immunity, clean slate. Maya stared at the photograph. Those cold, calculating eyes. This man would see her as a tool, an asset, nothing more. But dead witnesses weren't even tools. They were just bodies. Do I have a choice? You always have a choice, Miss Sterling. But some choices are just about picking which hell you'd prefer to survive. Maya reached for the file with trembling fingers. When do I meet him? He's in conference room B, has been for the past hour. Of course he was. Men like Kang Minho didn't make offers without assuming they'd be accepted. Maya walked into that conference room expecting a monster. What she got was somehow worse. Kang Minho sat at the head of the table like it was a throne. One hand rested on a leather portfolio, the other held a fountain pen that probably cost more than everything Maya owned. His suit was charcoal gray, perfectly tailored, and he wore it with the casual elegance of someone who'd never questioned whether he belonged in the most powerful seat in any room. When his eyes lifted to meet hers, Maya felt the assessment in his gaze like a physical touch. Clinical, thorough, measuring her value down to the last decimal point. Miss Sterling. His English was perfect, barely accented. He gestured to the chair across from him. Please, sit. Maya didn't move. I prefer to stand. I'm sure you do. The corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. But not quite. But we have business to discuss, and I find negotiations more productive when both parties are seated. Humor me. It wasn't a request. Maya sat, keeping her back straight, hands visible on the table. Agent Chen says you want to buy my contract. I wouldn't phrase it so crudely, but yes. Minho opened the portfolio, revealing a contract in English and Korean. I'm offering protection, resources, and security in exchange for your cooperation regarding the Volkov Syndicate. Your cooperation meaning revenge. My cooperation meaning survival. His eyes never left hers. Volkov has been encroaching on Asian markets for years, violent, unstable, bad for business. Your testimony damaged him but didn't destroy him. I intend to finish what you started. Using my intelligence, using every tool available to me. You happen to be an exceptionally valuable tool, Miss Sterling. He slid the contract across the table. 3 years in Seoul under my protection. You share everything you know about Volkov. You follow my security protocols. In exchange, I guarantee your safety and your freedom at the end. Maya scanned the document. The terms were clear, clinical, impersonal. Throughout the entire contract, she was listed as Asset S. Not even her name, just a designation. And if I refuse? Then you're welcome to continue relying on federal witness protection and its obvious failures. Minho leaned back. I've read your file. 4 relocations in 3 years. Each time, found within 6 months. How long do you think you have left? 6 months? 3? Less? You're not offering me freedom, just a different cage. True. But my cage has never been breached. My organization has never had a leak. And most importantly, I have a vested interest in keeping you alive. You're useless to me dead. How comforting. I'm useless instead of worthless. For the first time, something shifted in Minho's expression. Not quite a smile, but close. You're not useless, Miss Sterling. If you were, we wouldn't be having this conversation. You have intelligence, courage, and you've stayed alive against overwhelming odds. Those qualities have value. Just not human value. In my world, human value is a luxury few can afford. Minho picked up his pen. I'm not offering you friendship or warmth or emotional support. I'm offering you pragmatic protection in exchange for pragmatic cooperation. Nothing more, nothing less. Maya looked at the contract again. 3 years. 3 years as Asset S to a man with the emotional range of a calculator. 3 years as a tool in someone else's war, but 3 years alive beat 3 weeks dead. I have conditions. I expected you would. I want my own space, not in your home. Separate location. Agreed. I'll provide a secure apartment in Gangnam. I want freedom of movement. I'm not staying locked up for 3 years. With security detail and prior approval. Agreed. And I want respect. Maya met his eyes directly. I'll give you my cooperation, my intelligence, everything you need. But I won't be treated like livestock. I won't be dismissed or reminded every day that I'm just a contract to you. Can you agree to that? Something flickered in those cold eyes. Respect, maybe, or interest. I can agree to that. Then we have a deal, Mr. Kang. Minho. He stood, extending his hand across the table. If we're working together for 3 years, formality seems inefficient. Maya stood, taking his hand. His grip was firm, controlled, over before she could think about it too much. Maya, then. Maya. The way he said her name, carefully, like he was testing how it felt, sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. Welcome to Seoul. Try not to die. It wasn't much of a welcome, but coming from Kang Minho, Maya suspected it was the closest thing to warmth he was capable of. She had no idea how wrong that assumption would turn out to be. The flight to Seoul was surreal. Private jet, leather seats. Luxury Maya had never experienced even before witness protection stripped her life down to essentials. Minho worked the entire flight, barely acknowledging her except to make sure she had food and water. Professional, detached. Exactly what he'd promised. It shouldn't have stung. But somehow, it did. When they landed at Incheon at sunset, Maya got her first glimpse of Seoul through tinted windows. Neon everywhere, skyscrapers touching clouds, streets packed with people moving with purposeful efficiency. Beautiful, overwhelming, completely foreign. Your apartment is in Gangnam. Minho broke the silence for the first time in hours, still scrolling through his phone. 32nd floor. Security's already in place. You'll have 2 bodyguards assigned whenever you leave the building. 2 seems excessive. $5 million bounty seems excessive too, but here we are. He glanced up briefly. Jin Woo and Daejung, former military, loyal to me personally. They don't speak much English, but they'll keep you alive. Comforting. It should be. Back to his phone. Tomorrow we begin debriefing. I want everything you know about Volkov's operations, structure, key players, vulnerabilities. Daily meetings until I have a complete picture. And then what? Then you maintain your low profile while I dismantle Volkov's empire piece by piece. Maya studied his profile in the dim light. Sharp jawline, focused eyes, not a single wasted movement or expression. Do you enjoy this? The power, the control, the chess game? Enjoyment is irrelevant, it's what I'm good at. That's not an answer. Minho actually looked at her then. Really looked at her like he was seeing something other than Asset S. You ask a lot of questions for someone whose survival depends on my goodwill. You said you respected courage. I'm making sure you meant it. Something flickered in his eyes again. I did mean it. And to answer your question, no, I don't enjoy it. But I'm exceptionally competent at it, and in my world, competence is more valuable than enjoyment. Sounds lonely. Loneliness is another luxury I can't afford. His attention returned to his phone. The moment of connection, if it could even be called that, was over as quickly as it started. We're here. The apartment was exactly what Maya expected. Expensive, secure, soulless. Modern furniture, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River, everything perfectly arranged and utterly impersonal. Jin Woo and Dae Jung will be stationed outside your door. Minho walked through the space with clinical efficiency. This phone is secure. My number's programmed. Use it only for emergencies. What constitutes an emergency in your world? Immediate threat to your life. Anything else can wait. Maya took the phone. So I just sit here for 3 years, answer your questions, and wait for you to tell me when I'm allowed to live again? Minho paused at the door, hand on the handle. For a long moment, he didn't turn around. You're supposed to stay alive, Maya. Everything else is negotiable. Then he was gone, and Maya was alone in her golden cage with a view of a city she didn't know and a future she couldn't predict. She walked to the window, pressed her palm against the cool glass, and wondered how long it would take before she stopped feeling like merchandise. The answer turned out to be longer than she hoped, but shorter than she feared. The debriefing sessions were brutal. Minho was thorough, methodical, utterly relentless. They met daily in a secure room in one of his legitimate business buildings, high-rise in Gangnam with too much security to be truly legal. Walk me through Volkov's distribution network again. This was their 6th session. Minho sat across from her with his tablet, expression neutral. Eastern European connection specifically. Maya had repeated this 3 times already. Why? You've documented everything. Because inconsistencies reveal either lies or forgotten details. Which is it? Neither. I'm tired, Minho. We've been at this for 4 hours. 15-minute break. He checked his watch with robotic precision. Be ready to continue at 3:30. Are you always this cold? The question escaped before Maya could stop it. Minho looked up, something unreadable crossing his face. Cold is efficient. Emotions complicate operations. Emotions make you human. In my experience, humanity is a liability. He stood buttoning his suit jacket. 15 minutes, Maya. Use them wisely. But he didn't leave immediately. He paused by the door, back to her. You asked if I enjoyed this. The answer is no, but I'm good at it because I don't let feelings interfere with decisions. The moment I start caring about something beyond strategic value, I become vulnerable. Vulnerability in my world gets people killed. It was the most personal thing he'd said in 6 days. Then he was gone, leaving Maya wondering what had made Kang Minho decide that caring about anything was too dangerous to risk. Weeks blurred together, debriefings, solitary dinners, walks along the Han River with Jin Woo and Dae Jung shadowing her every move. Maya learned basic Korean, enough to navigate without feeling helpless. She learned the rhythms of Minho's organization, who reported to him how decisions were made, the careful balance between legitimate business and criminal enterprise. And slowly, carefully, she learned that Kang Minho was more complicated than she'd assumed. Like the morning she mentioned missing proper coffee, and the next day found an expensive espresso machine in her apartment. A note in precise handwriting: efficiency requires proper caffeine. M. Or when a drunk businessman followed her on a walk and Jin Woo intervened with extreme force. The next day, Minho personally reviewed the security footage, jaw tight with something that looked almost like anger. Increase the detail to 3 guards when she's in public. That's excessive, Maya had protested. Your safety is not negotiable. He said it flatly, not looking at her. But his hands clenched on the desk, betraying some emotion beneath that controlled exterior. 3 months into the contract, Maya realized she wasn't afraid of Kang Minho anymore. She'd started seeing the cracks in his armor, the moments where his control slipped just enough to reveal someone trapped by his own competence. but she never expected the night everything would change. Maya woke to hands over her mouth and the cold press of a gun barrel against her temple. Terror flooded every nerve. The apartment was dark. Jin Woo and Dae Jung should be outside. How did anyone get past them? Quiet, the voice hissed in Russian-accented English. You scream, you die. Understand? Maya nodded barely. The hand lifted from her mouth, but the gun stayed pressed to her head. As her eyes adjusted, she made out 3 figures in her bedroom. Professional, armed, moving with practiced efficiency. Volkov had found her. Get up, get dressed. We're leaving now. Maya's mind raced. The secure phone was on her nightstand, 2 feet away, but reaching for it meant instant death. Jin Woo and Dae Jung's silence meant they were dead or incapacitated. Minho wouldn't know she was in danger until too late. She was completely alone. I said move. The gun pressed harder, and Maya forced herself to stand on shaking legs. She reached for clothes, mind calculating possibilities. 3 attackers, at least 1 gun, probably more. No backup, no weapons, no combat training. But she had one thing they didn't expect: the knowledge that Kang Minho valued his investments. You're making a mistake. Maya kept her voice quiet, pulling on jeans. You know who's protecting me? Kang Minho, Korean mob boss. The leader laughed. You think he scares us? Volkov pays better. Volkov doesn't know Seoul like Minho does. You'll never make it out of this building. We got in, didn't we? Because Minho wasn't expecting an attack here. The moment his security realizes I'm missing, you're dead. Not arrested, dead. He doesn't leave witnesses. Then we better move fast. The leader grabbed her arm, hauling her toward the door. You're worth $5 million. Minho's reputation doesn't pay rent. They moved her through the apartment quickly. In the hallway, Maya saw Jin Woo and Dae Jung, unconscious, zip-tied, bleeding from head wounds. Alive, but useless. The attackers had done their homework. The elevator ride down was the longest 30 seconds of Maya's life. She tried to catch someone's eye, anyone who might help. But at 3 a.m., the building was dead. The lobby was empty except for the security guard's post, which was mysteriously vacant. Inside job. Someone had been paid off. They pulled her into a waiting van outside, and Maya felt her last thread of hope snap. This was it. 3 months of protection, and she was going to die in Seoul just like she would have in L.A. The van peeled away from the curb, tires screeching. Maya closed her eyes, thinking of her mother, her sister, everyone she'd lost to witness protection. At least they'd never know how she died. The van made it 3 blocks before the first explosion tore through the night. Not an explosion. Gunfire. Automatic weapons announcing themselves with authority. The van swerved violently, and Maya heard the driver curse in Russian. We've got company! Through the back windows, Maya saw them. 3 black SUVs moving with coordinated precision, boxing them in. And standing through the sunroof of the lead vehicle, absolutely fearless, was Kang Minho. He looked like an avenging angel in a designer suit. No emotion on his face, just cold, calculated fury as he fired with mechanical precision. Not at the van, he'd never risk hitting her. At the tires, the engine, strategic points that would disable without destroying. The van skidded, hit something hard, and flipped. Maya's world became pain and chaos, and the scream of metal tearing. Impact after impact, her body thrown around like a rag doll. Then everything went still, and she was hanging upside down from her seatbelt, ears ringing, blood running down her face. Hands grabbed her. Maya tried to fight, but her body wouldn't cooperate. Then she heard his voice. Maya! Maya, look at me! She forced her eyes open. Minho's face swam into view, and for the first time since she'd met him, he looked absolutely terrified. I've got you. Stay with me. Jin Woo, Dae Jung. Alive, conscious. They called me the moment they woke up. His hands moved over her, checking for injuries with surprising gentleness. Can you move? I think so. Good. We need to go. Now. He cut her seatbelt, catching her as she fell. Then he was carrying her, moving with urgent speed. Around them, gunfire still echoed. Minho's men had engaged the Russians with extreme force. Bodies littered the street. Maya tried not to look, but couldn't help seeing the efficiency of Minho's organization in action. They'd mobilized in minutes. Found her in a moving vehicle in a city of 10 million people. Extracted her with military precision, all because Kang Minho had decided she was worth saving. He put her in one of the SUVs, sliding in beside her. Hospital. Now. Then his attention turned to Maya, and she saw something in his eyes she'd never seen before. Fear. Raw, genuine fear. "You're bleeding," she said stupidly. "Doesn't matter." His hands cupped her face, checking her pupils, her injuries. Touch shockingly gentle. "You could have died. You were 3 blocks from disappearing forever." "But I didn't. You found me." "I almost didn't." His voice cracked, and Maya realized his hands were shaking. 3 more minutes, Maya. 3 more minutes and you'd have been gone." "How did you even know?" "Jin Woo has a panic button in his watch." He triggered it the moment he regained consciousness. Minho's jaw clenched. "I was in a meeting in Busan. I chartered a helicopter and flew back the moment I got the alert." "You flew back from Busan for me?" "I flew back for you." Like it was obvious. Like there had never been any other option. "You're under my protection, Maya. That means something. That means everything. I'm just a contract to you." "You were." His eyes locked on hers, and the intensity there stole her breath. "You were just a contract, just Asset S, just a tool I needed for my war against Volkov. But somewhere between the debriefings and the coffee machine and watching you learn Korean with Jin Woo, you stopped being just anything." "Minho, I don't do anything halfway, Maya. When I commit to something, I commit completely. And I committed to keeping you safe." His forehead dropped to rest against hers, the vulnerability in that gesture nearly breaking her. "They almost took you, and I would have burned Seoul to the ground to get you back." Maya's heart hammered. "You barely know me." "I know enough. I know you're strong and stubborn, and you refuse to be diminished by anyone. I know you ask questions that make me uncomfortable because they're the right questions. I know you've survived things that would break most people." His eyes opened, and what she saw there made her forget to breathe. "And I know that losing you would destroy something in me I didn't realize I still had." "What's that?" "The ability to care about something more than strategy." His thumb brushed her cheekbone, carefully avoiding her injuries. "You make me want to be more than efficient. Maya, you make me want to be human again." The SUV pulled up to a private hospital, but neither of them moved. They stayed there, foreheads touching, bleeding and bruised, and surrounded by the aftermath of violence. And for the first time since signing that contract, Maya felt like something more than an asset. She felt like someone worth saving. The attack changed everything. Minho moved Maya to a safe house the next day. Somewhere off the grid, known only to his innermost circle. 6 guards instead of 2. And for the first time since she'd arrived in Seoul, he stayed with her. Not in a separate location. Not connected only by scheduled meetings. Actually stayed in the safe house, close enough that Maya could hear him moving around at night when he couldn't sleep. "You don't have to do this." This was day 3. They were in the living room, her with a laptop finishing reports, him managing his empire remotely on multiple phones. "You have businesses to run. I'm safe here." "You were supposed to be safe in Gangnam, too." Minho didn't look up. "I'm not making that mistake again." "So you're putting your life on hold because I got attacked?" "Yes." The simplicity of it stunned her. "Minho, that's not sustainable." "I don't care." He finally looked up, and the intensity in his eyes was almost frightening. "They almost took you, Maya. Got within 3 blocks of delivering you to Volkov. If Jin Woo had been unconscious 30 seconds longer, if I'd been 30 seconds slower, you'd be dead or worse, so no. I'm not leaving you. Not until Volkov is eliminated. Not until I'm certain you're safe. You can't eliminate every threat in the world. Watch me." And he meant it. Over the next weeks, Maya watched Kang Minho systematically dismantle Volkov's organization with terrifying efficiency. Using her intelligence, he struck at supply lines, exposed corrupt officials, turned allies into enemies. Ruthless, calculating, utterly relentless. But with her, he was something else entirely. He brought her coffee in the mornings, made exactly how she liked it. He sat with her during meals, gradually opening up. About his childhood, a father who'd trained him to be cold because cold kept you alive. About burned dreams and buried emotions. He learned to smile around her, small, genuine expressions that transformed his entire face. And Maya found herself falling for a man who was supposed to be just business. This is a bad idea. One night on the safe house balcony, watching Seoul's lights in the distance, Minho was closer than necessary, his arm almost touching hers. "Whatever this is between us." Probably. He didn't move away. "Most of my decisions are calculated risks with measured outcomes. This is neither calculated nor measured. It's just a risk." "And you're taking it anyway?" "I told you. I don't do anything halfway." He turned to look at her, and the vulnerability in his expression made her heart ache. "I've spent my entire life being efficient, Maya, removing anything that might make me weak, but you make me want to be weak. You make me want to feel things I've spent years training myself not to feel." "Like what?" "Like the terror I felt when I thought I'd lost you, like this overwhelming need to protect you that goes beyond professional obligation, like—" He stopped, jaw clenching. "Like I'm falling for someone I was supposed to view as a contract." Maya's breath caught. "Minho, you don't have to say anything. I know the position this puts you in. I'm still your protector, still the man who holds your safety in his hands. It's not fair, and I'm sorry. But I can't pretend I don't care anymore. I can't look at you and see Asset S. I just see Maya. And I'd burn my entire empire to keep you safe." Maya should have stepped back, should have maintained boundaries, should have remembered this was still a transaction, still temporary. Instead, she reached for his hand. "What if I don't want you to pretend?" His fingers closed around hers, gripped tight enough to hurt. "Then we're both making terrible decisions." "I've made worse. So have I." He pulled her closer, slowly, giving her every opportunity to pull away. "Tell me to stop, Maya. Tell me this is a bad idea and we should maintain professional distance, and I'll do it. I'll step back. I'll go back to being just your protector. Nothing more." Maya looked up at him. At this man who'd learned to bury every emotion because emotions got people killed. Who'd spent his life being cold and calculated and efficient. Who'd broken every one of his own rules for her. "I can't tell you that," she whispered, "because I'd be lying." Minho's control shattered. He kissed her like she was air and he'd been drowning. Like she was the first real thing he'd felt in years. His hands framed her face with shocking gentleness, and Maya felt 3 months of tension and denial and desperate attraction explode between them. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Minho rested his forehead against hers. "This changes everything." "I know. My organization will see you as a weakness. My enemies will target you even more. And Volkov will use this if he finds out. So we don't let him find out. Maya, you don't understand what you're signing up for. My world doesn't allow for love, doesn't allow for vulnerability. The moment people know I care about you beyond professional obligation, you become the most valuable target in Seoul. Then we're careful. Maya cupped his face, forcing him to look at her. You've spent your whole life being careful, Minho, being calculated and controlled and cold. But you don't have to be that way with me. Not here. Not in private. What if I've forgotten how to be anything else? Then I'll remind you. She kissed him again, softer. We'll figure it out together. And for the first time in his adult life, Kang Minho allowed himself to hope. That maybe he could be both powerful and human. That maybe caring about someone didn't have to mean losing them. He just didn't know yet how brutally that hope would be tested. The next 6 weeks were the best and most dangerous of Maya's life. By day, they maintained professional distance. He attended to his empire. She continued providing intelligence on Volkov. To outsiders, exactly what they'd always been. Protector and protected. Business arrangement. Nothing more. But at night, in the safe house where no one could see, they were something else entirely. Minho taught her about Seoul, Korean culture, the history that shaped him. Maya taught him how to laugh again, how to express emotions beyond cold calculation, how to be vulnerable without it being weakness. Tell me about before. One night, tangled together on the couch, his fingers tracing absent patterns on her arm. Before you became this, before the organization. Minho was quiet for a long moment. There is no before. My father was boss before me. I was raised to take over. Emotions were weaknesses. Attachments were liabilities. Love was a luxury we couldn't afford. Did you ever want something different? Wanting is irrelevant when duty is predetermined. His arm tightened around her. But yes, once. When I was 16, I wanted to be an architect, design buildings instead of criminal empires. My father found my sketches and burned them, said dreams were for people who could afford to be weak. Maya's heart ached for the boy he'd been. I'm sorry. Don't be. He made me strong. Made me into someone who survives. He tilted her face up. But he also made me into someone who almost let the best thing in his life walk away because he was too cold to recognize what he had. I'm not walking away. Promise me. The vulnerability in his voice was devastating. Promise when this gets difficult. When my world tries to destroy what we have. You won't disappear. I promise. Maya kissed him softly. You saved my life, Minho. Multiple times. I'm not leaving. But promises were fragile things in a world built on violence and betrayal. The first crack came from an unexpected source, Minho's own organization. We need to talk. Secretary Jang appeared at the safe house unannounced, expression carefully neutral, but Maya saw the tension in his shoulders. It's about the American. Minho's entire demeanor shifted instantly. Gone was the man laughing with Maya 5 minutes ago. In his place stood the cold, calculating boss who'd built an empire on fear and efficiency. Her name is Maya. Whatever you need to say it in front of her. With respect, boss, this is organization business. She's part of this organization now. Speak. Jang's jaw tightened. The council is concerned. They've noticed your increased attention to her protection, resources being diverted, risks you're taking. They're questioning your judgment. My judgment has kept this organization profitable and powerful for 10 years. They can question it when they build something comparable. They think she's making you weak, that you're making decisions based on emotion instead of strategy. And are they wrong? The question came from Maya before she could stop herself. Both men turned to look at her. She met Jang's eyes directly. Is he making bad decisions because of me? I'm not making bad decisions at all, Minho said flatly. I'm making the same strategic choices I've always made. The council's problem isn't my competence. It's that they can't control me through the usual levers of power. They're planning to vote, Jang said quietly. To remove you as boss if you don't distance yourself from her. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. They're planning a coup. They're planning to protect the organization's interests by removing the man who built those interests in the first place. Minho's voice was deadly calm. And who exactly is leading this rebellion? Kim? Park? Or is it you, Jang? I'm here warning you, aren't I? Jang's expression finally showed emotion, frustration. I've been loyal to you for 15 years, Minho, but I can't protect you from the entire council, and I can't protect her if they decide she's a liability. Then it's a good thing I don't need your protection. Minho stepped forward, and despite being unarmed in casual clothes, he was more intimidating than men twice his size. Go back to the council. Tell them if they want my position, they're welcome to try to take it, but remind them what happened to the last people who questioned my authority. Jang held his ground. She's going to get you killed. She's the only thing keeping me human enough to care whether I live or die. Minho's voice softened slightly. You've been my friend, Jang. I value your counsel. But if you make me choose between the organization and Maya, you won't like the choice I make. The silence that followed was suffocating. Finally, Jang bowed slightly and left without another word. Maya waited until the door closed. He's right. I'm making you weak. You're making me something better than strong. Minho pulled her close, heart racing against hers. But he's also right that this puts us both in danger. The council won't wait long. Then give them what they want. Distance yourself from me, publicly at least. We can... No. The word was absolute. I told you, Maya. I don't do anything halfway. And I meant it when I said I'd choose you over the Empire. Don't say that. You've built this organization from nothing. You can't throw it away for what? For love? He cupped her face, forcing her to meet his eyes. That's exactly what I'm willing to throw it away for. Because what good is power if I have to be cold and empty to maintain it? What good is an empire if I can't protect the one person who makes me want to be better than what my father made me? Maya's eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. You're going to start a war. Then I'll win it. His expression was fierce, determined. I've won every battle I've ever fought, Maya. This one won't be different. But Maya had seen enough of violence and betrayal to know that confidence, no matter how justified, couldn't protect against treachery from within. The coup came 3 days later, and it came with bullets. Maya was in the safe house kitchen when she heard the first shots. Jin-woo appeared instantly, weapon drawn, face grim. Get down, now! She dropped to the floor as glass exploded above her. Multiple shooters. Coordinated attack, professional execution. This wasn't Volkov. This was Minho's own people. Where's Minho? Maya shouted over the gunfire. Headquarters under attack! Jin-woo returned fire, dropping someone in the doorway. We need to move you, now! Not without. He ordered us to get you out if anything happened. Maya, we have to go. But Maya was already reaching for the secure phone Minho had given her. She dialed with shaking fingers, praying he'd answer. He did. First ring. Maya. Just her name, but she could hear the chaos in the background. Gunfire, shouting, men dying. Minho, where are you? Headquarters. The council made their move. It's bad, Maya. It's really bad. Jin-woo says you're under attack. I can handle it, but you need to get out of Seoul. Take Jin-woo and Dae-jung and run. I've transferred funds to your account, enough to disappear forever. Go to Malaysia. I have contacts there who'll... I'm not leaving you. Maya, you have to. This is a civil war, and you're the excuse they're using to justify it. They'll use you against me. They'll hurt you to hurt me. You need to disappear. No. Maya's voice was steel. You don't get to make that choice for me. You said you'd choose me over the Empire. Now I'm choosing you over safety. Where are you? Maya, where are you? A pause. Then quietly. Gangnam headquarters, penthouse level. But you can't come here. There are at least 30 hostiles between the lobby and my position. Then I guess Jin-woo and I better hurry. Maya ended the call before he could argue. Jin-woo stared at her like she'd lost her mind. You want to go to headquarters, in the middle of a coup? I want to go to Minho. Can you get me there? Probably not alive. That wasn't the question. Jin-woo studied her for a long moment. Then, incredibly, he smiled. Boss chose well. Come on. Dae-jung, you're driving, and call every loyal unit we have. Tell them we're coming in hot. The drive through Seoul was surreal. Jin-woo made calls in rapid Korean, coordinating with forces still loyal to Minho. Apparently, the coup wasn't as popular as the council had hoped. Many of Minho's men remembered who'd built the organization, who'd kept them paid and protected for years. But many others had chosen power over loyalty. They pulled up to headquarters to find a war zone, bodies in the street, bullet holes in the marble facade, windows shattered on multiple floors. This wasn't a coup, this was an execution. Last chance to run, Jin-woo said, checking his weapon. Not running. Maya's voice didn't shake. Not now, not ever. They moved through the building like a military operation. Jin-woo and Dae-jung took point, clearing rooms with brutal efficiency. Other loyal guards joined them as they ascended, until Maya was surrounded by 15 men who'd chosen their boss over a coup. The penthouse level was absolute chaos. Minho's personal guards had formed a defensive perimeter, but they were outnumbered. Bodies littered the floor, both loyal and traitor, and in the center of it all, bleeding from multiple wounds, but still standing, was Kang Minho. He fought like a man possessed. No wasted movements, every shot precise, every decision calculated even in chaos. But Maya could see he was fading. Too many wounds, too much blood loss, fighting an impossible battle. Minho! Maya's shout cut through the gunfire. He turned, and the expression on his face when he saw her was pure horror. No, Maya, no, you can't be here. Too late! Jin-woo and his unit opened fire, catching the coup forces in a crossfire. The tide turned instantly. Men who'd thought they were winning suddenly found themselves outnumbered and outmaneuvered. Maya ran to Minho, not caring about the bullets still flying. He caught her, staggering, his blood staining her clothes. You stubborn, beautiful, impossible woman. You were supposed to run. I don't run from the people I love. She cupped his face, seeing how pale he was, how much blood he'd lost. You're hurt. You need a hospital. I need you safe. His legs started to give out, and Maya struggled to support his weight. The council is handled. Jang appeared from the chaos, his suit torn and bloodied. He looked at Minho with something like respect. Kim and Park are dead. The others have surrendered. It's over, boss. You picked a side, Minho observed, barely conscious. I picked the winning side, like I always do. Jang looked at Maya. He really was going to throw it all away for you. The madman was actually going to walk away from everything he'd built rather than let you go. I know. Maya pressed her hand against the worst of Minho's wounds, trying to stop the bleeding. And I'd do the same for him. Then I guess you deserve each other. Jang pulled out his phone. Medical team is en route, 3 minutes out. Those 3 minutes were the longest of Maya's life. She held Minho while his blood soaked through her clothes, whispering desperate promises and prayers in English, Igbo, and broken Korean. He stayed conscious through sheer will, his eyes never leaving her face. Still here, he murmured. Still choosing you over everything else. Then keep choosing. Keep breathing. Keep living. Maya's tears finally fell. You don't get to die after making me fall in love with you, Kang Minho. That's not how this story ends. Didn't know you loved me. His smile was bloody but genuine. Should have led with that information. I love you, you impossible man. I love you, and you're going to survive this. and we're going to figure out how to have something real together. Real is messy. I don't care. Real is complicated. I don't care. Real means you're stuck with me. His hand found hers, grip weak but determined. No more contract. No more expiration date. Just us. Forever. Forever works for me. Maya kissed him as the medical team burst through the doors. Now shut up and let them save your life so we can start that forever. 6 months later, Maya stood on the balcony of their new penthouse. A real home, not a safe house. Not a business arrangement. Behind her, she heard Minho moving around, probably already on his phone managing the organization he'd rebuilt after the coup. An organization that was changing, slowly, carefully, but changing. Less violence, more legitimate business. Minho was keeping his promise to be more than what his father had made him. "You're up early," Minho said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. His chest pressed against her back, warm and solid and alive. The scars from the coup had healed mostly. The emotional ones were taking longer, but they were healing too. "Couldn't sleep. Still not used to the quiet. No one's tried to kidnap or kill you in months. Must be disconcerting." Maya laughed, leaning back into him. "Volkov's organization collapsed 3 months ago. Your coup was 6 months ago. We're almost boring now." "I'm never boring." He kissed her neck, and she felt his smile against her skin. "I'm just strategically peaceful." "Is that what we're calling it? Would you prefer domesticated?" "You? Domesticated?" Maya turned in his arms, looking up at him. "You're still running a criminal empire, Minho, just a slightly less violent one. I'm transitioning to legitimate business. It's a process." His expression softened. "Besides, I have motivation now. Turns out loving someone makes you want to be the kind of man who doesn't come home covered in blood every week. I never asked you to change. I know. That's why I wanted to." He pulled a small box from his pocket, and Maya's breath caught. "We had a contract once. 3 years, clinical terms, no emotions. That contract is long expired." "Minho, I want a new contract, Maya. One that doesn't have an expiration date. One that's built on love instead of strategy. One where you're not asset S and I'm not your protector. We're just two people who found each other in the worst possible circumstances and decided to build something better." He opened the box, revealing a ring that was somehow both elegant and understated. "Perfect. Marry me. Not because of debts or business arrangements or strategic value. Marry me because somewhere between soul and bullets and blood, we became real." Maya's tears fell freely now. "You're supposed to be cold and calculating. You're not supposed to do romantic proposals. You make me want to be more than cold and calculating." His voice was rough with emotion. "So what do you say? Will you take a chance on a reformed criminal who's still figuring out how to be human?" "Reformed is generous." Maya laughed through her tears. "But yes, I'll marry you. Yes to messy and complicated and real. Yes to forever with the man who chose me over his empire." Minho slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her like it was the first time and the last time and every time in between. When they finally pulled apart, both smiling, he rested his forehead against hers. "No more contracts," he whispered. "Just promises." "Just promises," Maya agreed. "And love. Don't forget the love. Never again." His arms tightened around her. "I spent my whole life forgetting how to love. Now I'm spending the rest of it remembering with you." And in that moment, on a balcony overlooking Seoul, Maya Sterling and Kang Minho proved that some love stories don't follow rules. Some love stories are built on blood and bullets and impossible choices. Some love stories start with contracts and end with forevers. And sometimes, just sometimes, a mafia boss learns that the most powerful thing he can do is choose love over empire. Every single time. If you loved Maya and Minho's story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Drop a comment and let me know. Would you trade everything for love, or is power worth more than passion? Your support means everything and keeps these stories coming. Until next time, keep believing that love can change even the coldest heart. Thanks for watching.